Hello, third grade, and welcome to the last module for science. We're in module 7, and this module is titled Learn from the Past. So in this module, we're going to talk about fossils and a lot of things that are related to fossils. So in your workbooks, you're going to start on page 270. Just look at the photo of the fossil. Fossils give us clues to plant and animal life in the past. What questions do you have about the fossils? Let's go ahead and take a look at this picture right here. Oops. Take a moment to write down at least 3 questions that you have. Feel free to pause the video so that you have more time to look at the picture. Once you've completed that, I want you to take a look at these vocabulary words. So these are going to be the vocabulary words you're going to come across throughout this module. Take a minute to try and guess what you think they mean, or if you already know what some of them mean. Take a look at any word parts in it that you might recognize. Once you've done that, we're going to read about the STEM career connection for the paleontologist. It's a really short read right here. For the first part, you're answering what questions do you have for a paleontologist? So any questions you can think of. After you've completed that, we're going to jump right into lesson 1. And lesson 1 is titled Things from Long Ago. Now we're going to begin over here on page 272, and we're going to read the passage titled Extinct Today. Read the conversation between the friends. Explain which friend you agree with the most. So list their name over here, and please use complete sentences to tell me which friend you agree with the most and why. Once you've completed that, we're going to go on to our next set of pages, and we're going to take a look at a picture of the mastodon. So these are mastodons over here. Take a moment to look at the picture and write down at least 3 questions you have about mastodons. Feel free to pause the video here so that you have more time to look at it. Once you've completed that, you're going to read this STEM career connection about the museum curator. Again, a really short passage. And then you're going to answer the 2 questions on the following page. That's what does this museum curator do? What helps fossils last a long time? So please use complete sentences here. And then you're going to do your best to answer your essential question. So again, just give it your best guess because we're going to learn about these things as we go through the lesson. Your essential question says, what happened to organisms no longer living on Earth? So what happened to those things that don't live on Earth anymore, or that are extinct? Once you've completed that, we're going to jump into an inquiry activity titled Model of Survival. Now, the question you're going to focus on is, how can I model a school of fish struggling to survive? You're going to make a model to show the births and deaths in a school of fish. Ask a question that your model can answer. So pick a question that you want to answer while you do this activity. You're going to be using 20 pennies, a piece of paper, and some tape. All of those we have in the classroom, and it's things that you guys will have at home as well if you're working on it from home. So first, you're going to make a model. Sturgeon are a type of fish. Count out 20 pennies to represent a school of sturgeon. Divide a piece of construction paper into 6 sections to make a game board. Label the sections like this. So you're going to fold your paper in half long ways, okay? And then fold it into thirds. So you'll have 6 pieces. And you're going to label all 6 of those pieces. Number 1 is death, 2 is life, 3 is death, 4 is life, 5 is offspring, and 6 is life. Now you're going to carefully toss or drop the pennies onto the board. And you're going to take away any pennies that landed in sections 1 or 3. So if it lands in section 1 or 3, you're going to take those pennies out, and you're not going to be able to use them anymore for the next round. You're going to add a penny for any pennies that land in section 5, because section 5 is titled offspring. So if you had 2 pennies land there, you're going to add 2 more pennies to your pile. Take all the pennies off the board to prepare for another round. So after you do this, the ones that lived, you're going to keep in your original count so that you can drop them again. The ones that died, you're going to put aside, and any that landed in offspring will tell you how many more to add to your group of pennies. So you're going to repeat these steps for 20 seconds. So we're going to set a timer, or you can set a timer at home for 20 seconds, count them out, collect them, drop them again, and drop them again, count them out, pick out the ones that landed on death, add in more for the ones that landed on offspring. And this is going to represent 20 years of these fish's life. So at the very end, you're going to write down how many fish you have left, or how many pennies you have left. Then we're going to start answering some questions. Number 7 says, interpret data. Is your school of fish in danger of dying off? How do you know? How did the number of pennies change? What does this activity tell you about a species, and survival? What would happen to the sturgeon species if all the sturgeon in the world did not survive? In the activity, why did 20 rounds represent 20 years? So think about those questions. Remember to answer using complete sentences. Once you've completed that and you've done it with really neat handwriting, we're going to move on and take a look at our vocabulary words that we have for this lesson. Now, this lesson only has 2 vocabulary words. The list that we saw in the beginning is the vocabulary words for all of the lessons in Module 7. So we're going to look at the word endangered and extinct, and then we're going to read our handout titled Endangered or Extinct. Let's go ahead and jump back, pull up our vocabulary. Endangered is when one kind of organism, remember an organism is just a living thing. When one kind of living thing has very few of its kind left on Earth, that means there's not very many of them left. And extinct means when there's no more of them left at all. So they've all died off and we're not able to have any more of them after that. Now let's take a look at our questions here first before we begin our handout. What is the difference between a species that is endangered and a species that is extinct? Number 2, why might a plant or animal species become endangered? Endangered or extinct. When environments change, organisms must adapt to their new resources or migrate to new habitats. So they either have to get used to what they have available in their new home, or they have to move to a different home if they're not finding the things that they need. The organisms that are not able to adjust or move might become endangered. A plant or animal is endangered when there are only a few living members of its kind left. Sometimes organisms become endangered because of the actions of people. As a large predator, the tiger is important to the ecosystem. Humans have destroyed a lot of their habitat. People are trapping tigers to sell its fur. Tigers are endangered. Panda bears are the rarest member of the bear family and live in bamboo forests. They feed on several different types of bamboo that bloom at different times during the year. They're important to the bamboo forest where they live as they spread the seeds of the plants that they eat. If one type of bamboo is destroyed, the pandas can have nothing to eat. Animals that are endangered are protected by laws. The goal is to make sure that an animal does not become extinct. The word extinct means that there are no living members of a species. So this we can see was a pretty short read, and it answers our questions on the previous page. What is the difference between a species that is endangered and one that is extinct? We read through that, and that's also in our vocabulary. And why might a plant or animal species become endangered? So we talked about that over here when we were talking about the tigers and the pandas. Now let's take a look at number 3. Was the model of survival activity a good model to show how a type of organism could become endangered or extinct? Explain. So here you're writing about the activity with the pennies. Next, we're going to explore the digital interactive titled Extinct Animals on Species That Are No Longer Alive. And then we're going to answer the questions after we finish. How do scientists learn about extinct animals? Which animals were alive most recently? Mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, or dinosaurs? And then we're going to take a look at another interactive activity, and we're going to review those questions as soon as we get to it. So let's go ahead and open this one and focus on these 2 questions. How do scientists learn about extinct animals, and which animals were alive most recently? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this activity.
Look at the images and read about what scientists have discovered about them. Scientists called paleontologists look for artifacts. They are interested in learning why some animals went extinct. Sometimes they find different types of bones. There is no way to know exactly why some animals went extinct. Scientists are able to learn a lot about them from what they leave behind. Scientists are not exactly sure what caused the mammoth to become extinct. They believe it was either humans or disease. From all of their research, they know the mammoth died out around 4,000 years ago. Saber-toothed tigers, or large cats, once roamed the American landscape. They have been extinct for nearly 12,000 years. Many scientists believe that a very harsh climate change, and possibly humans, were the cause of their extinction. Dinosaurs have been extinct for millions of years. Scientists have studied these creatures and have many different thoughts about why they have become extinct. Scientists have found eggs, nests, fossilized footprints, and bones. One thing we know for sure is they were many different shapes and sizes and roamed nearly every part of the world.
Okay, so now we've gone through and we've taken a look at a few different types of animals. So we talked about dinosaurs, and we said those have been extinct for millions of years. The saber-toothed tiger has been extinct for nearly 12,000 years, and the mammoth has been extinct for about 4,000 years. So now we can go through and answer these questions. How do scientists learn about extinct animals? So think about what we were talking about, that they're finding fossilized parts, that they're looking at the area that those remains were found in, what kind of things they found fossilized with them, are all things that tell scientists about what their lifestyle was like, what they did, what they ate, where they lived, and what they looked like. Which animal was alive most recently? So again, we can go back over here. Remember, we said scientists found out that dinosaurs have been extinct for millions of years. Saber-toothed tigers have been extinct for nearly 12,000 years, and mammoths have only been extinct for about 4,000 years. So that'll give you the answer to this question. Let's take a look at our next digital interactive titled Extinct and Protected Animals to compare. We're going to answer the questions, why are orangutans endangered? And how are people trying to make sure elephants do not become extinct? Let's go ahead and jump into our next activity.
Did you know that there was once a rare dolphin that lived in a river in China? The small, white, and nearly blind dolphin was a very delicate creature. Scientists believe ship traffic on the river was the cause of extinction around the year 2000. The great auk was a flightless seabird that has been extinct since the mid-1800s. They were only about 75 centimeters, 30 inches tall, and their wings were used to help them swim in water. Humans used them for food and bait, which eventually led to them becoming extinct. Orangutans are endangered animals. They live on tropical islands in very thick rainforests. They are threatened because humans are cutting down the forest for timber. To try and save them, many have been taken to national parks. The land is protected in national parks, and the orangutans can hopefully grow in population.
Okay, so remember, we had a couple questions focused on orangutans. Why are they endangered and how are people trying, or the next question is about elephants. But why are orangutans endangered? Please make sure you use a complete sentence and pull part of your question into your answer. So you would say orangutans are endangered because, and then you can go back here and you can see that humans are cutting down the forest that they live in for timber, so they're destroying their habitat. Let's keep going and find out about the elephants.
Both African and Asian elephants are endangered animals. Their declining numbers are due to the loss of habitat and poaching. Illegal poachers hunt the elephants for their skins and the ivory in their tusk. People are helping elephants by rebuilding their habitats and transporting them to national parks. They are also making strict laws and punishments for illegal poachers.
Okay, so here we can go ahead and answer our next question. That says, how are people trying to make sure elephants do not become extinct? You say people are helping elephants by rebuilding their habitats and transporting them to national parks. They are also making strict laws and punishment for illegal poachers. You feel free to pause the video here if you want to copy that information down. Otherwise, let's go ahead and jump into our next page on page 280. Here it says, draw a picture of an animal that is currently protected. Show how people are helping protect it. So draw your picture and please label it. Put down information. And remember, you don't need to answer the I can statement. Just make sure you draw as neatly as you can, and your labels are written out very neatly as well. Now that we're done with that section, we're going to go ahead and jump into our next set of pages. It says research, investigate, and communicate. You're going to do some research on horseshoe crabs. Horseshoe crabs are one of the oldest types of organisms on Earth. Research to learn more about why some scientists are interested in horseshoe crabs. Scientists have concluded that the ancestors of the horseshoe crab date back almost 450 million years. What question will your research help you to answer? So what would you like to find out about horseshoe crabs? You're going to list your question here. For number one, it says research to find out about the horseshoe crab and take notes about what you find. Please use neat handwriting. Check your spelling and grammar whenever you're writing. And then down here for communicate information, number one says construct an explanation. Why are some scientists interested in horseshoe crabs? So give me at least one reason why you think they're interested in them. Next, you will research to find out more about an extinct animal. So find a list of animals that are extinct. Choose an animal that became extinct in the last 200 years. So something that was extinct fairly recently. Find out why they became extinct. Now, here you're going to ask a question. What question will your research help to answer? So what question would you like to ask and find the answer to? Number one says conduct research to find out what changes made the animal go extinct. Write down all the reasons. So find the reasons that those animals are not around anymore and write all of those reasons down. We're going to share that information in class, or you can share it with anyone in your household. And then what are the main causes of recent extinction? So what's the main reason that animals have become extinct in the very recent past? Next, you're going to construct an explanation. What changes caused animals to become extinct in the last 200 years? And then we're going to answer our essential question. Think about the picture of the mastodon you saw at the beginning of the lesson. Use what you learned about endangered and extinct animals to answer this question. And you don't need to do the I did statement. Once you've completed all of this, please make sure you review everything because you will have your quiz for lesson 7.1 after you're done with this lesson. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.